All right, you're back for lesson 2. So last time we met, you learned about the crochet hooks that I use. You've learned about what size hook to use with your yarn. You learned how to hold the hooks in the yarn, how to make a slip knot, and how to make your foundation chain, okay? Today, you're gonna learn how to do a single crochet and what's called a slip stitch. So we're gonna practice with just this little project that you'll start using your foundation chain. You will do a couple rows of single crochet. You can do as many as you want. Like, you can practice this for 5 feet if you want on your single crochet, and then you'll learn a slip stitch, okay? I do highly recommend that you have a good feel for your foundation chain before you start this lesson, because knowing that you have a good foundation chain, that tells me that you've got a good control of your hook and your yarn, and it'll make today's project so much easier, okay? I have a few examples too that I'll go over with you of what a chain should look like if you're feeling confident. Just kind of like, it should almost look like a really good braid in a way. And then I'll go over what your chains might be looking like if you're still kind of struggling and need more practice, okay? So we'll go over that. All right, let's get started. So in order to know if you're ready for this lesson, take a look at your foundation chain that you created during lesson 1, okay? I would ideally like it to be pretty consistent. It should almost look like a braid, pretty kind of even thickness, even tension on the yarn, okay? So it should look like this. If it looks like this, if it's kind of twisting like this, that means your tension is way too tight and you just need to loosen up a bit when you're moving your hook and your yarn. Just allow that yarn to be a little bit more free, loosen up a little bit. On the other hand, if your yarn looks like this, or your chain looks like this, it's kind of tight over here, and then like you loosened up a bit, and then maybe a little bit too much. This just means you need to work on your consistent tension as well. So again, it should be a little more even. So if it's looking like this or like this, I would recommend to go back to lesson 1 and practice your chains a bit more, because the better you get at them and the more you can get it to look like this even braided kind of straight line, lesson 2 will be so much simpler for you. So go back and practice this before you start this lesson, okay? So if it does look like this and you're ready to go, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, we'll just do a quick review. We've got our hook, and I've got some basic yarn. We'll do in pink this time. Again, just kind of a super basic yarn. I'll put the links to these in the description as well. So again, we're gonna start with the slip knot, okay? So we will, again, make this circle and pull through. If you need to review how to do that, just go back and take a look at lesson 1 as well. And then we'll take our hook, put it through the loop, and then pull your tail to tighten it on the hook, okay? These are all steps that were reviewed in lesson 1. Again, you're gonna hold it in your hand. Again, just a quick review that. You'll put your hand upside down, put your yarn through, flip your hand around, and wrap twice, okay? We're gonna chain 15, okay? So this slip knot does not count, so we're going to chain 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay? So again, it should be pretty straight line, pretty even, nothing crazy loose or crazy tight. It shouldn't be twisting. Again, if that's where you're at, practice a little more, because this lesson will come much simpler to you, okay? Now that you got your chain, what we're gonna practice now is how to single crochet, okay? Okay, so So I'm gonna go ahead and show you where we're about to put our stitches just so you can see. So as you look at your chain, there's kind of these little loops as you go, and again they look like kind of like a braid, okay? So I'm just gonna leave my hook out to show you where we're going to put our hook when we insert our hook. So the first place is just to the left of this loop. You're gonna see this loop here, okay? Kind of pull it out. Hopefully you can see that. That's where we're gonna put our hook, okay? And there's all these loops across the top, okay? You can kind of see this pattern. Again, this is why it's easier when you've got your even chain going, because you can easier pinpoint these loops, okay? So hopefully you're able to see that. All right, so it's inside of those loops that we're going to insert our hook for our single crochet. So what you'll do is you're going to take this hook and you're going to put it into that first spot. Okay, so we're just going to insert our hook. We're going to keep this loop on there. We're going to insert our hook into that first spot. Okay, now what I want you to do is similar to how we chained. You're going to put your yarn over your hook. Okay, and again, we are going to pull this yarn through this first loop on our hook, okay? Again, very similar to the chain. You're just going to pull it through that one loop, okay? So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Next, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to pull this yarn through both of these loops this time, okay? So you'll pull through. And that's a single crochet. I'm going to do that a couple more times. Okay, so we're not going to put our loop in our hook into the same loop that we just did. We're going to do the next one over, okay? When you're crocheting, you always work from right to left. So that's what we'll do. So again, we just did this loop. We're going to do this one here. So push your hook through that hole. Pull the yarn through this first loop. And then you're going to put the yarn over your hook and pull it through 2 loops. Okay, we're going to do that again. Again, this is single crochet, so you'll put your hook through the next loop to the left, put your yarn over your hook, pull this yarn through the first loop, put your yarn over your hook again, and then pull through 2 loops on your hook. Okay, so as you can see, our project is getting a little bit thicker. So we'll do it one more time. Okay, again, so now you can see, I'm just going to stretch out my work a little bit here. You can see the loop I just went through. I'm going to use our hook. I just went through this loop here. I'm going to go through this next one here. Okay, so we'll insert our hook into this next loop, put our yarn over our hook, pull through the first loop, put our yarn over our hook, pull through 2 loops, okay? And you're going to keep doing that all the way until the end. So go back and review again, watch how I did this, and then continue on to the end, and I'll meet you back when you've made it to the end, okay? Alright, you should have made it to the end. Your work hopefully looks something like this. It's not going to be perfect, but it should be at least be thicker. You may have missed some loops in your chain. That's okay. Again, you're just starting. You'll get there. But hopefully you've at least made it to the end and it's looking thicker and you've kind of got the moves down. Okay, again, if you mess up, you can, again, take your hook out and pull the yarn and undo anything you need to, okay? You can undo anything you need to kind of go back and fix areas that you don't like how they turned out or you just want to practice again. So, you've made it to the end, all right? Now what we're going to do, and what you'll hear often in tutorials or when you're reading your crochet patterns, is you have to turn your work, okay? What that means is you literally, if I'm holding my hook here, I just finished, you're gonna flip it around like this, okay? It's like super simple. I remember being super complicated when I first started, but again, I was here. Here's my work. I keep my hook where it is. Like, don't even move your right hand. Keep your hook there and just flip, okay? And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna crochet this top part again. So again, our work is just gonna continue to get thicker. So I want to show you here where our crochet hook will be inserted now that we've moved on. So you can see these kind of little triangles or letter V's. It's in those areas that we're going to be inserting our hook. Okay, so here's one. I'm going to put my thing through here, my hook. Okay, so here's one. Okay, here's another. Okay, here's another. Whoop. Okay, and as you go along, you see all these letter V's. When you insert your hook, you're going to go through both sides of that letter V. Okay. Sometimes in patterns, you'll hear to only insert in the back half or the front half. That's to create texture. So if that's the case, you would only insert into one. Okay, either the back one or the front one. Okay, but for now we're just going to practice inserting into both because that's generally how you'll do it. That's the more basics, okay? So, here, put my hook back in. And we're going to do the same thing, okay? So this very first letter V, we're going to insert our hook into. Again, put your yarn over your hook, pull through one, yarn over your hook, pull through two. Okay, again, put your hook under that letter V. So yes, now there's kind of two pieces of yarn here, but you're going to pull your yarn through the letter V, okay, and then pull through both loops on your hook. Okay, insert your hook into the next letter V. Pull through it, pull through both. Okay, so exactly the same as in our chain, we're just inserting our hook into a different spot. Okay, so again, insert under the V, pull your yarn under the V, and then pull your yarn through both loops. Okay, again, practice that. And I'll meet you at the end again, but this is a single crochet, all right? You could make a lot of things just using this one stitch. You go again, just continue on until the end of your work. Okay, when you're at the end, this last letter V is easy to miss, okay, because it's kind of hard to get your hook in there, but if you don't crochet that last stitch, your work is going to be crooked, so you need to kind of force your hook into that last stitch, okay, to get the last one out, okay? Otherwise, your work will kind of end up being shaped like this instead of like a rectangle on the side, okay? All right, so then we're going to turn our work again. So I'm here, just flip your work around. We're going to do the same thing. I want you to do 5 more rows, okay? After you've done 5 more, so you'll go this way, flip this way, flip this way, okay? You'll do 5 more rows, or you could do more if you wanted to. When you're ready to move on to the next one, at least do 5 so you've got good practice. Meet me back here, and we're going to do one more stitch called a slip stitch. That's very simple, but we need a little bit more to go off of before then. So do 5 more rows and meet me back. Okay, so your work should look something like this. Okay, somewhat rectangular. There might be some holes or weird gaps, so that's okay. Again, this is just another thing to keep practicing. If you want, you could, if your work is looking good and you're kind of liking it, you could continue as many rows as you want, and this could be an easy coaster, okay? Or, I don't know, you could make it into a lot of things. Or you could make a washcloth, really anything. So, if you want to keep going, go ahead, but I'm going to move on to how to do a slip stitch. And this stitch is used sometimes when finishing off your work, just to give it a clean edge. It's not always used, but it is important to learn. So it's even simpler than the single crochet. So to do a slip stitch, we're going to do it across the top row. It's still going to be inserted into your letter V's, okay? So you will insert your hook into the first V. You're going to put your yarn over your hook, and instead of just pulling through one like you would for the single crochet, you're going to pull through both the letter V and your original loop here. You're going to pull through them both at the same time, okay? So you go through 1 and 2, okay? Again, you would go under the V and put your yarn over your hook and pull through both the letter V and a loop on your hook, okay? And that's it to a slip stitch. It's pretty basic. It's kind of hard to maneuver your hook to get under this second one sometimes, but again, just practice. You can see how I'm kind of manipulating my yarn here, or my work, to allow me to go through the second one, okay? Something I noticed too that I do is I often hold onto the loop with my pointer finger just to kind of, I don't know, stabilize it a bit. That helps me. Don't feel like you have to, but yeah. So again, just under the letter V, pull through both, okay? That's it for lesson 2, all right? So practice your chains more, practice your single crochets, and then that slip stitch, you would take that all the way to the end, okay? That's it. We will see you back for lesson 3.